I had grown up laying in tanning beds and laying out outside. I was obsessed with being tan. You can even call it, I was addicted to being tan. Was going to skin checks year after year after year, getting clean skin checks year after year after year. 2020 happens, and I miss one skin check because of quarantine. Did not go. 2021 happens, and it's time for my yearly skin exam, and that's when they find it. So it was on the front of my shin, on the very front of my shin, and so I could see it. I could see it every day. It was in a very easy to see spot on my body. My name is Brittanny. I was diagnosed with stage 3A melanoma skin cancer in 2021, and I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania. I grew up in a very, very small town. My mom put me in dance when I was 3 years old, so I danced, and then I was a cheerleader in school, so that's my earliest memories, is just growing up and being a little girly girl. I loved dressing up. I loved being on camera. Yeah, what disturbs me so much is nothing. There was nothing. I had no indication that I ever had cancer until I went to the dermatologist and they told me. I mean, there was nothing indicating that I was sick. And it only took me being diagnosed with cancer and having all the surgeries and getting to the point where I had to comprehend how serious melanoma was, which took months into my diagnosis to realize that I had to look back and really dig, man, like, is there anything that could have told me that I had cancer? And the only thing that I can think of is maybe I was a little bit more tired than usual. Maybe, but again, I was kind of a newer mom. Jackson was like 5, 6. It was his first, he was just finishing up his first year of school. We were in a pandemic. So all these things were changing in my life. I didn't feel sick. There was nothing that made me think, oh yeah, you have cancer. Other than, of course, I had a mole on my leg that was growing and it was huge and it was ugly, but I didn't feel sick. I didn't look sick. Nothing. There was no indication that I was sick. I had been going to the dermatologist yearly for the couple years prior just because I had health insurance. I had Medicaid. Through getting Medicaid and learning that, oh, now I can have doctor's appointments of all sorts of the type. I always call it my guilty conscience, and if anybody's ever heard my story before, I've told this many of times. In my guilty conscience, when I started thinking about what types of doctor's appointments can I schedule, one of the first ones I was like is a skin check, because I had grown up laying in tanning beds and laying out outside. I was obsessed with being tan. You can even call it, I was addicted to being tan, loved being tan. So laid in tanning beds, my youth, my teenage years, always in the summer, outside. So yeah, long story short, ding, 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 let's schedule a dermatologist appointment. Was going to skin checks year after year after year, getting clean skin checks year after year after year. 2020 happens, and I miss one skin check because of quarantine. Did not go. 2021 happens, and it's time for my yearly skin exam, and that's when they find it. So it was just terrible timing. Just bad luck and terrible timing is really all it is. Mixed with, guilty conscience is the only reason why I even went to a dermatologist to begin with, because I was like, at some point in time in my life, probably heard somewhere that tanning beds cause skin cancer, and I knew that I had laid in tanning beds, and so my risk of skin cancer was higher than most people, potentially, and just all of that together, 1 + 1 = 2, and hi, I have melanoma now. So it was on the front of my shin, on the very front of my shin, and so I could see it. I could see it every day. It was in a very easy to see spot on my body. It wasn't like it was on my back where I couldn't see it, right? So that's a good thing. So I saw it growing. I noticed it was ugly. And I also noticed that it was getting dry. Business as usual. You go in and they say, "Hi, how are you? And is there anything concerning that you want me to look at?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I guess this one on my shin." And 2 seconds later, he said, "That's melanoma." And I said, "What's melanoma?" Which is hilarious because I have gone to skin checks time after time after time, but I was 27 years old. I can't like exclamation point that enough. I'm sure they have educated me on what melanoma was in every skin check prior to that. And I am sure, well, I will tell you for a fact, it went through one ear and out the other. Because what 20-year-old thinks they're going to get cancer? You know, I wasn't in a state of mind where I'm like learning what these types of skin cancers are. I had no reaction because I had no idea what melanoma was. I guess it could have been different if I knew what it was. I maybe would have been like, "Oh wow, that's the deadliest form of skin cancer." I might have started bawling in that moment if I knew what melanoma was, right? But I had to come back the next day to get it biopsied. And they sent it off, and it was probably a day or two later they called back and they confirmed, yes, indeed, this is melanoma, and that I was going to have to schedule an appointment with an oncologist. I remember that was the first doctor's appointment that I went to where I cried because she was the one that sat me down and explained everything to me and Merle. We went together, and that's the first appointment where I finally broke down and bawled my eyes out because I was finally realizing that this was serious and that I was about to have to change my life forever. I was going to have to start, she told me I was going to have a few different surgeries that was going to be a second surgery in the biopsy area, which is a wide local excision to get bigger margins to make sure that the full melanoma was removed from my shin, or like all the cancer cells were removed from my shin. And that because I had delayed getting that melanoma checked out for so long that it had potentially spread internally. And that's whenever I found that out, which was terrifying because again, I'm like learning that first I'm learning that a simple mole can be cancer, which is just blasphemy to me. I'm like, how on earth can a mole be cancer? That's just mind-blowing to me, for one. And for two, how can it spread internally? Just all these things are just connecting in my brain, and it's just insane. So I'm bawling, and she's like, "Well, you're going to have to get a scan, call it a PET scan, where they put you in a machine, they scan your whole body to see if it is spread internally. It could be anywhere, your brain, your liver, your lymph nodes, it could be anywhere in your body." And I'm just like thinking, I have a 5 going on 6-year-old son at home. I'm a brand new mom. We're just starting our family. We were planning, hoping to expand our family and have more kids at this moment. And I think that's the moment where it was like, okay, this is serious. This is actually serious. That's the moment I knew. They did the wide local excision and a sentinel lymph node biopsy. All of those 3 things found that the melanoma had spread to only one lymph node in my groin, which is really good news. So they removed that lymph node from my groin, and basically from there I was cancer free, good to go. All the cancer removed from my body. And from there I was recommended by my oncologist to do immunotherapy treatments, which I used the drug called Keytruda, which I had 18 rounds of Keytruda every 3 weeks for an entire year.
It should be beeping any minute now because she is empty and I'm about to be going home. It's gonna be beeping.
By taking the Keytruda, it basically teaches your body to fight off the cancer cells if it was to return, just to like dumb it down and make it super easy to comprehend. Is the Keytruda builds up your immune system, so if the melanoma cancer cells try to return back into your body, your immune system will do what it was supposed to do the first time and fight off those cancer cells so that they don't return back into your body and duplicate and spread and all that good stuff. But the only downside with Keytruda is there are pretty brutal side effects, and it changes you. It changes your immune system. I'm still alive today because of it, and I don't know. I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy that I'm still alive. I got a port installed in my chest. I have a little scar here still to show you. I got a port. My hospital, once they would take like a few vials of blood, they would send it off to the blood lab where they would test it and make sure your levels were all good. Once your blood test comes back, and if everything is good, then they'll hook you up to an IV, which if you have a port, the IV will be hooked there. If you don't have a port, the IV will be hooked there. And it's just like fluids, but it's just an IV bag that if you've ever gotten fluids, that is hooked up or to your port or to your arm, and it takes about 30 minutes.
Oh, I still have to get a PET scan. I'm still not in the clear, and I'm never going to be in the clear. But I don't have to come back every 3 weeks anymore. Thank God.
The side effects for me are mostly digestive issues. So I have a lot of stomach pain, a lot of air, like I'm really burpy and really farty. It's just who I am, My stomach just hurts often. It's not to the point where I can't live. I just feel kind of like my stomach feels yucky pretty much all the time. It doesn't ruin my day. Like I can still get up and I can still live. I feel heavy, my stomach always feels heavy, full, and I just have to go to the bathroom a lot more than normal. I have colitis now, so I have episodes of really bad stomach pain. If anybody has colitis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, you probably, I had one pancreas attack. That was more because I wasn't getting help with my colitis sooner, so that was kind of like a niche situation. But yeah, it's mostly stomach issues, which, I can deal with a little stomach issues. I'm alive. That's the biggest thing. I'm happy to be alive, and I'm not dealing with melanoma. So, I'll take it. Right after, it's still pretty hefty because you have to go like every 3 months to still get PET scans, and I have my lymph nodes ultrasound and skin checks, and so it's pretty hefty initially after. But then it goes to 6 months. And now I'm 3 years out now, and now I'm at every 12 months. I feel like this is the first summer I've actually got to live. I got to go on 3 vacations that I didn't have to schedule around doctor's appointments. I got to actually enjoy myself and live and feel free. And I mean, of course, in the back of my mind, I'm always afraid that because melanoma there's a high chance of it reoccurring. It just does. And that's my reality. So every day that I live is like in some sick way, one day closer to the day it's likely going to reoccur, But I'm trying to keep my spirits up and enjoy every single day that I'm here. I feel like I have so much more purpose now. Like before I was living, but I wasn't living with much of a purpose. I was just kind of here, living, doing what I was supposed to do, getting up, going to work, raising my family and just dying around, and now I have such a big purpose. I feel like every day I wake up, and it's not like I don't have bad days. I still have bad days all the time. We're always going to have bad days, but even my bad days, I'm still like, you know what is fine because I'm alive and I got to live that day, and it is so okay. We'll do better tomorrow. It'll be better tomorrow, but I'm here. And then also, I hate cancer, don't get me wrong, but I love the fact that I get to advocate for cancer now and use my voice to really help people that are going to be diagnosed with cancer today or tomorrow or next year who have already been diagnosed with cancer, or the people that we've lost to cancer. Like, I never had a purpose before cancer. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And it was just this thing was thrown at me, and being able to use it for good. Like I just went to Washington, D.C. and got to talk to my senators and my congressmen and tell them about how it is so important that we keep funding cancer research, because I literally would not be alive today if immunotherapy didn't exist. It's just so fun to use this for good, and I don't know, just makes me happy. The biggest thing is that skin cancer is serious. It's really sad to me, and something I never thought that I would deal with. after being diagnosed with melanoma, which is a type of skin cancer, is that the amount of people that when I tell them I have skin cancer, they're like, oh, you're fine. You know, it's not serious. I never thought that I would be diagnosed with cancer and then turn around and have to defend myself that my cancer or my type of cancer is serious and could actually kill me. So I just want people to genuinely take it seriously and quit minimizing people out there in the world who are dealing with skin cancer every day. You know, just because it is the most common form of cancer does not mean that it's the least serious form of cancer. And I feel like that's so what we have to deal with so much, and it's really sad, and it hurts us. It hurts us all.